Hey everybody, it's the Board Game Blogger. Today I'm here to review the Vulgari Eloquentia. Now I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but the game is set in the late Middle Ages Italy, and players are merchants, and the sort of main goal of the game is set in the setting of sort of making a unified language and uniting all the dialects into the Vulgare, the sort of united Italian language. Now this is a Euro-style, optimization game. It's very much a multiplayer solitaire. You're sort of doing your own thing. There's a few ways to sort of subtly influence people. And normally that's not my genre, but this has just such a unique theme, and the mechanics are very unique. It's not like any other Euro game, really. And the theme just draws you in. Really has this fun, interesting setting. You start off as a merchant. You can sort of become a friar, you can become a cardinal, eventually someone can become the pope, and there's just a lot of neat things to do. You've got it's kind of a worker placement style game, but you've also got a map board that you're moving your character around. It's a really interesting game. Very unique. There's I don't think any other game that's similar to this. It's not like, oh, this is your standard economic engine game. It's not. It's a unique game with wonderful artwork. One of the issues with the artwork, however, is this is not colorblind friendly. There's no symbols for the colors, and some of the colors are so subtle that when I play this with people who are colorblind, they have a very difficult time playing the game. So that is a negative. If you're colorblind, I'd say look somewhere else, or you could feel free to kind of doctor your own copy to make it put the symbols on, make it colorblind friendly. For the rule book unfortunately is not it's kind of a struggle to go through. It's not the most helpful. You've got sort of a player action reminder on the back, but as that's helpful. I think it's good. But for the actual rule book, there's no table of contents, no index, and it's a long book for a Euro game. It's 11 pages, which is relatively long for a Euro game, and it is. I think it's tough to learn. The player aids that come in it, you've got this privacy screen, which is used in the game, and there's sort of a mini player aid here. It's not the full thing. It's not very well done. There's even some misprints, and this does not conform to the rule book. And sort of the FAQ states this is wrong. So unfortunately it's not a very well done player aid. Fortunately, someone on the Geek, Joe Berger of United Kingdom, has made a wonderful player aid, double-sided, explaining sort of all your actions and how scoring works. Excellent player aid. Do not play this game without Mr. Berger's player aid. It's fantastic. He's done a wonderful job. I don't even know if I could play this game without it. That's how necessary this player aid is for the game. But I'm sure you're interested in how this game plays. It's just really interesting, very different. It's got this wonderful theme that's unique. Sort of trying to unite a language, and you've got different dialect zones on the map, and it's a really interesting game. But let's take a look at how it actually plays. So here's the board on setup. We can see we've got sort of the map of Italy where player characters are, and people will be moving throughout the game there. We have sort of the turns and what's unique and what's available here, and we're on the first turn. As you can see, they have both different types of cubes that you can get, and you've got unique events. Now I think this is really necessary in these sort of multiplayer solitaire games. When it's difficult to directly influence a player, to keep replayability in a game, you need to have randomized setup. And that's what you have here. You've got different starting locations. People choose based on reverse player order. You have different cubes, and these are sort of people that you can sort of influence and come to your your sphere of influence that you're influencing as a merchant or as a cardinal or whatnot. You've got here the yellow cubes. These are abbesses. You've got the black cubes, noblemen. Green, these are emunices, sort of students. And then the red are the politicians. and I've set it up for a 3-player game, and what's coming out is randomly distributed each time. So, you know, you're not going to have an optimal play each time because it's going to be random. You really need that to keep replayability in a game. Additionally, you have events here that happen, and the order of events is going to be different each time. So here we've got Venice, this is event number 2, but we've actually got it happening on the 9th turn. And the order of events is going to be different each time. You also then have manuscripts here that people are collecting and, you know, helping to build a unified language. They're going to be based, the different colors based on the language zones here. So this yellow language zone corresponds to the yellow manuscript. You have to be in the yellow language zone with your physical person, your avatar, to actually you know, study that manuscript. And then we have sort of the different actions that you can take each turn. So if we zoom in here, we've got the Salterio, where you can decide to sort of upgrade your knowledge on the knowledge track. That's important. The next one here is Small Business, where you can perform a small business action to earn 10 ducats. You've got your movement action to move your player sort of on the physical map board. You've got the Orient action here, where you can sort of start to trade with the Orient, so when you enter a city you gain more income. You have up top the Riddle from Verona. This can only be done when you're in the blue language zone. The person at the end of the game who's the highest up will score victory points, anywhere between 4 and 6 points. You've got the Messenger to Bologna on the next track. That will gain you entry into Bologna and a large bonus of knowledge. Knowledge is very important in order to obtain manuscripts in this game. You've got the Papal Library, not able to access it until the 12th turn, but that will get you victory points. You have the Canticle of the Sun. Canticle of the Sun right here. And that will net you victory points, you know, based on Francis de Assisi's Canticle of the Sun. There's only certain spaces you can access. So we see here, there's 2. On the 2nd turn, if you're in this province of Cortona, then you can, you know, advance on the Canticle of the Sun track. You also have actions to take the Abbess, the Politician, the Scholar, the Nobleman, and then Rest, which will sort of reset player order. So that's sort of generally how it works. We're going to go through one first sample turn. I've got it set up for a 3-player game, as you can see. First we assign the event. This is in Palermo. This will give you, the person who achieves this event, 5 additional knowledge. Additionally, visiting Palermo will get you 25 knowledge. We also have player order over here. So the gray player is going to go first. You have 5 actions. You will place the actions on the board to sort of denote what you're doing. You can move to one space without adjacent space without a cost for your movement. If, however, you wish to move further, it's going to cost you some. So first, what the gray player is going to do is they will decide to move. So they move their player pawn there into Napoli. They put one of their discs here in Napoli to show they've visited the city. The bonus will not be able to occur multiple times. They then get 30 ducats. This is put in front of their privacy screen. And then they will also gain on the knowledge track 7 spaces. So they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that they've passed this first marker, they can start to learn a manuscript of the first level variety. So they can now try and gain these manuscripts into their possession. They'll have to reach level 2 on the knowledge track to get a level 2 manuscript. They still have 4 actions left. Because these are the only cubes available, this one nobleman and the 4 abbesses wants to gain a nobleman that's going to be worth a lot for victory points at the end of the game and useful in upgrading to a cardinal. So he'll choose to go here. The cost is 30 ducats that he just earned by going in to Napoli. He'll pay that to the bank. This will come out and it will go behind his privacy screen, though money stays in front. We now have 3 additional actions, and he's going to choose to study 3 knowledge, go up on the knowledge track 3 more. We'll perform a small business action up here that gets us 10 ducats, and then we'll rest 1 on the rest marker to try and maintain a first place turn. Turn order is very important in this game. As you can see, it lets you first prime access for the cubes available. You know, we'll let you hurry to a city if there's a unique event there, be the first to research manuscripts. There's a lot of options available here. But that was the gray player's turn. Now it's the green player. The green player will collect up the 5 action markers. And we'll move on. So the green player here is choosing to move 1. Again, no cost if it is just 1 space. So they're going to move in to Firenze. We'll place a green disc here, and they are earning 15 ducats and 9 knowledge. So 15 ducats, and we'll move up on the knowledge track 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now that they've surpassed the 1 and that they're in this sort of purple dialect zone, they're going to choose to go here with an action, take this manuscript. Now the manuscripts are worth victory points at the end of the game. And additionally, if you collect 1 from each dialect zone, you get some bonus victory points. Very important. So that will go behind the green player's privacy screen. They still have 3 actions left. We'll choose to go to the Salterio, gain some more knowledge. 1, 2, 3, and 2 more cubes. He's going to spend both of these on the Orient action to move his disc up 2. So if he gets his disc all the way and trade is successful with the Orient, every time he enters the city while he is still a merchant and has not yet upgraded to a friar, he's going to get an additional 10 ducats. We then have a yellow player's turn. So yellow player is going to choose to move, go into Venice, and will score 15 gold. And that shows he's been to the city and cannot get the bonus again. He will then choose to get one of the abbesses. This is 15. They're free if you happen to be in an abbey, which he's not. Abbeys on the board. This, for instance, is an abbey if someone was located there. But then you're not in a language zone, so it's sort of a trade-off of what you're doing. But we'll pay the 15, grab the cube. It will go behind the privacy screen. And these are useful for points during the end game, where merchants can become bankers, friars can become monks, cardinals could potentially become the Pope. We still have 3 more actions left here. And what the yellow player will choose to do is they're going to also then go on the Solterio. Because they're the furthest behind now on knowledge, on the knowledge track, their action of the Solterio is actually worth 4 as opposed to 3 because they're the furthest back. This then enables them to study this manuscript as they're in the blue dialect zone. They can put this behind their privacy screen, and they have one final action. They're going to rest as well and move up on the rest. Now, because both players are on the same space on the rest marker, gray is going to have priority. So now what will happen is we'll advance the turn. These will come up. The turn marker advances. This event enters the play field, and these cubes will degrade down to the next available spot. Each spot can only hold 5, so it degrades down to the 8th turn. Player order is reset here. Gray maintains its lead. Yellow comes ahead of green, and these go back to their respective parties. And that's sort of a sample turn. So we see no one sort of accessed Canonical of the Sun or did any progress towards the messenger to Bologna. What we have up here also are the friar tiles for when people decide to upgrade to the friar. You have to go to a convent, which is located on the map, and then you could upgrade and become one of these friars. For instance, they're going to have some unique abilities, and some have malices. In order to become a friar, however, you're going to lose half of your money rounded up. Additionally, you can then never receive a monetary benefit from entering a city. So it's kind of a decision is when do you switch from a merchant to a friar. You will receive charity from the merchants. Additionally, you have the cardinals. A friar can upgrade unto and become a cardinal. They're going to cost 40 ducats, and again, having become a friar, you will have to have given up half your money, but then you'll have some bonus abilities and then have the potentiality of becoming the Pope at the end game. One of the cardinals is worth 70. As you can see here, he gives you an extra action marker. Finally, the game ends. It's going to be a random end each time, and I think this is useful so that there's not always an optimal turn. What's going to happen is as the turn order descends, not the player turn order, but the turn order, you're going to flip. You see is the current Pope, oh, he's still healthy. Then on the next turn, he's ill. We'll now know, as soon as the next ill Pope tile comes up, he will pass away. This is fine. And then here on this turn, the 15th turn, the Pope will have passed away. All players will move directly to Rome to elect a new Pope and will perform their actions based in Rome. That's sort of generally how the game works. You have ways you score is being elected Pope, becoming a monk, victory points from a papal library, from money, from your manuscripts. There's a lot of different ways and avenues to gaining your victory points and winning. It is, as you can see, multiplayer solitaire. You're performing your own actions individually. Very little way to influence your opponent except, beating them to a city where there's an event or taking the available cubes for the turn prior to your opponent. So turn order is extremely important in this game. But what I really enjoy here is just, it's a unique theme. You've got your sort of worker placement actions and what you're doing, but you also have the map. Really encompasses the theme well with the different language zones. It's just such a unique and wonderful game that even though this isn't the genre of game that I don't like games where you can't really influence your opponent. This game is just so unique that it sort of deserves a space on the shelf. Anyway, till next time, I'm the Board Game Blogger.